morning, everybody. Happy Thursday. Hope you guys all had fun yesterday learning about how to make your little plant tubes with toilet paper rolls and whatnot. I know for a fact we got some messages. Some of you have started germinating seeds in paper towel. That is awesome. Couldn't be happier. Any questions along the way, let us know. That's what we're here for. So I thought today what we could do is we could talk about what is sock. That's actually soil. My handwriting is as bad as my drawing. What is soil? So let's turn to our big handy dandy book here. Soil is the upper layer of earth in which plants grow. A black or dark brown material, typically consisting of a mixture of organic remains, clay, rock particles, microorganisms. Woo! That's exciting, eh? Essentially, that's a fancy way of saying the soil is one of the outer layers of the earth where plants grow. There's our roots in the soil. And what it mainly consists of, so if you take an area like this, and you look at it under a microscope, or even a magnifying glass, or even if you break it down into your hand, you won't be able to see everything with your own eye. With your hand you will. And you're gonna see little rocks. You're gonna see some pretty big rocks. You're gonna see tiny little things like that. And what else is in there? You're gonna get clay chunks, okay? You're gonna have things breaking down. You're gonna see the remains of leaves and pine needles, things like that. And then really hard to see, there's gonna be tiny little bugs called nematodes. They're living under there. And then bugs that we know. We're gonna see earthworms, we're gonna see ants, we're gonna see pill bugs, all kinds of things happening in there. And when you look at it in a garden and you see that soil and you see your plant growing, what quite a few of you might not realize is just how many layers there are in there and how much is actually happening in there. That soil, it's living. Most of the Earth's biological activity happens in the top few layers of soil because of the activity. So, if we run with that, well then the next question has to be, well, what are the soil layers? So there's a few. We're gonna go with the top ones though. So, our first layer, right here, and then got another layer below that, that's a little deeper. Then, gotta get my right colors here. Another layer. And then there's a bottom layer. So, the bottom layer here is bedrock, okay? And that's exactly what it sounds like. It's just large rock, large stone. It's what everything sits on, okay? Then, the next material there is called the parent material. Now, I don't know if you can guess what the parent material in Calgary is. I'll let you guys know, it's clay. So right above the bedrock, we have the parent material, and in Calgary, the parent material is clay. It's different wherever you are in the world, different jungles, different environments that you're in, you're gonna have a different parent material. Now, the next one that we have is called the subsoil. Now the subsoil is essentially a mix of the two layers on either side of it, which is the topsoil and the parent material. So as the parent material is moving up, and that's all of the clay, your topsoil is coming down. The topsoil is a very rich, very, very heavy soil. It's filled with all kinds of organic breakdown. It's not as rich, so let's go to the top one. And that one is our surface soil. So your surface soil is technically only a few inches deep, and that's where the leaf breakdown happens. There's a lot of humus in there, there's a lot of organic material, a lot of nematodes. You're going to see a lot of worms, a lot of activity is in this surface soil. as the leaves are falling from trees and whatnot, they're landing on there and they're breaking down, and that's where a lot of this composition is happening. The topsoil below it is where that's broken down to a really heavy, thick, rich soil, and you've got the subsoil pushing up into it, and the parent material is pushing up to that, and the bedrock is kind of keeping it all together. So obviously there's a lot more to say about all of this and what's happening, but for the purpose of what we're doing, which is learning about growing, we're going to go focus on these top two here. So, the most important soils for growing. Like we just said, it's our surface soil and our topsoil. So you're going to see, if you look at your soils and you dig down into a garden, and I'm sure a lot of you have, your surface soil is always going to be a little lighter. And I'm talking about healthy soils that have been worked through. A lot of times if we haven't worked a soil, that can be heavy clay, it can bake quite hard, it's not going to be a very easy soil to work with. But if you've always done a lot of gardening and it's spring and you're getting ready to turn your bed, you're going to have your surface soil. And it's technically normally going to be a few inches. I made mine a bit bigger there. And then below that, we've got the topsoil. Those are the two most important. Like I said, the others are important as well, but those are the two most important soils that we have. These two soils here, the activity that happens in there is constant. Again, even though we can't see it, there is always biological activity happening in here. Things are breaking down, bugs are eating other bugs, nematodes and ants are working the soil, worms are digging their tunnels through. There is so much activity happening below our feet every day in a garden that we don't see, that's instrumental for it growing. And this is filled with an unbelievable high concentration of organic matter from the plants breaking down. And the other thing, as the rocks are pushed up, what we said before about the subsoil and the parent. So the surface soil is constantly coming down while other soils are coming up. So the little rocks that are in there, those rocks are constantly breaking down and getting smaller. They break down into minerals. Don't know if you remember when we spoke about the roots, other than water, what else do roots do? They uptake minerals from the soils breaking down. Should have made this lower and I could have drawn some roots in it. You know what? I can draw roots in there. Like that's good stuff. So the roots are in there and they're pulling up the minerals that are breaking down up into the plant. So the plant above is getting all of this activity from what it's happening. Then, what else is growing on in here? You'll see all kinds of cool things. I don't know how many of you have gone out in the garden. Anybody know what I'm drawing here? An earthworm. Could have been a snake, could have been an eel. That one's an earthworm, that's for you. Earthworms are incredible. They dig through, they're eating the soil as they're eating it, they're pooping out worm castings, which is an incredible way to grow your plants. Ants, a lot of people don't like ants. I don't have any personal problem with them. Maybe I can't draw them very good. That might be my only problem with an ant. But the ants are amazing too. They dig their tunnels. It allows water to get through into areas. They're constantly moving the soil, digging their nests and making things, keeping other bugs away because they don't want any combat in there. You've got pill bugs. They are the little armadillo-looking guys. I don't know if you guys can see them, but they're the little armadillos. They always make me smile. They always look like they're happy. And they're eating all of the decaying matter in the leaves that are on the surface, and they're chewing through that. And then they're pooping that out, and it's becoming compost. And this is all constantly happening on those layers. And as that's happening, these roots are getting that benefit. And as the roots go deeper, they'll hit the subsoil. It has less of that. It's a thicker, heavier soil. And that's going to help anchor the plant. But again, that's not what we're focusing on today. We're focusing on this. So now, we have soil versus growing medium. So when you're in your garden, you guys saw me yesterday fill up our toilet paper tubes with a growing medium. Technically not as soil. The reason for that is, like I just said, when you're in your garden and you've got that thick, heavy soil, it's great because there's always activity. But if you take that soil, you transfer that into a plant pot, You're not going to bring worms in with it. You're not going to bring ants in with it. There's not going to be that constant activity. There's nothing underneath pushing up through. So here is black earth, topsoil. And here is potting medium. So if you guys can't see the difference, the first difference that stands out to me is the color. The second one that stands out to me is the clumping. I bet you guys didn't think I was going to make a mess today. I'm making a mess today. So if you look at that, and then you look at that, I can squeeze that and it's just going to break up. It's not going to clump. Okay? That is going to clump. I put that in a plant pot. If I take this, push it down in my plant pot, look at that. You can almost make a sandcastle out of it. That sits in there, the water comes in, it holds. Now my roots can't breathe, it's too heavy to plant it. But if that's in the garden and a little earthworm comes across it, look at that, now it's crumbling. So that's the difference between a growing medium and a soil. And it's, look at that, you can mix them together. Now I'm getting a really light soil and a heavy growing medium. So those are the main differences between the two of them. The soil is heavier, it is richer, it's going to hold the plant up better, amazing for your garden. You don't want to put that in a pot or a raised container. You want to use the potting material. Now, I have an apology to make. I'm not in charge of the social media, and I was looking through it, and it turned out a certain somebody who's standing behind the cameras referred to soil as dirt. So this is soil. It's fun, it's alive, it's interesting, it's exciting. You get it out of the garden, you can buy it here and you put your plants in it. This is dirt. See a difference? I'll put my plant in that, and Brandy, our wonderful director who I love dearly, can put her plant in that. Whose plant do you think is going to do better? This is dirt. It's not holding together at all. There's no nutrients in it. There's bits of wood and stuff in it. And that is dirt versus soil. And all dirt really is misplaced soil. It can be when you come in from the garden, you've got mud on the bottom of your boots. That can be dirt. The dust that's around your house can be dirt. You've been to the beach. You get back from the beach, you shake out your towel, there's now sand all over the house, and your mom's yelling at you, but that's just dirt, it's just misplaced soil. Essentially, dirt is dead, soil is alive. But you know the amazing thing about nature? One of the amazing things about nature, there's so many, is that you take this dirt here that I swept off the floor, and throw it into my soil. Look at that, I'm going to break that piece up too. And guess what? Our dirt just became living soil. Our dirt just became living soil again. That's the difference, is that dirt is not alive, soil is. But you can bring dirt back, and you've just got to mix it together. So that's the difference between the two of them. That is what you're looking at, and that's why I will never refer to it as dirt. Growing medium, you can call it soil, you can call it earth. Growing medium is a very, very long-winded way of saying it. It's accurate because it's not technically a soil. If you guys have questions, we can get into that later, but it is a growing medium. So I hope that answers some questions. Keep your questions coming, guys. We have gotten so many. We've gotten some awesome pictures, great feedback. We're loving it. I get a chance to see them nearly every day. Brandy gets them to me. We've been laughing. We've already got some of the questions ready to answer. We got some shout outs going to happen. So keep them coming in. We're so happy you guys are enjoying it. We're so happy to be doing it. I'm basically just glad for an excuse to make a mess. Really, that's all I'm here for. That's all I'm in this for. And I hope you guys are enjoying it. Any questions, let us know. Have an amazing Thursday. It's warm here. I hope it's warm where you guys are. And we'll see you tomorrow for Friday.